Grocery shopping with an eating disorder can feel like one of the most triggering experiences on our eating disorder recovery journey. There's a lot of stimuli happening. Our eating disorder voice is often raging at the grocery store. And there's a lot of opportunity to relapse as we're reading labels, making food choices, and managing all of the stimuli that come around being in the grocery store in recovery. As such, I actually don't recommend that an individual go through grocery shopping while they are in the early stages of recovery, if at all possible. Now, I know that we all need food, but if you can enlist the support of a trusted friend or family member to do the grocery shopping for you in the early stages of recovery, by all means, this is a great tactic until you feel like you are ready to tackle the grocery store yourself. If you don't have this support, you might also try something like grocery delivery or even grocery pickup, where there's a lot less stimuli and decisions to be made in that time. Now, once you decide that you are ready to try grocery shopping in your recovery journey, here are some tips and tricks. Go in prepared. So, know that there are likely going to be triggers that maybe you haven't even thought about at the grocery store. For example, even the layout of the store can be a trigger for some people. So, have a plan. Maybe before you even hit the grocery store, you're getting a map of the grocery store and knowing exactly where everything is in the grocery store and which sections of the grocery store might be a trigger. So, for example, if you are a person that avoids carbs, maybe we don't start out in the bread, tortilla section and baked goods sections. And we have a plan in place for when we hit those sections at the grocery store. Or maybe we avoid those sections altogether in our first trip in the grocery store. And we don't embark on them again until we feel properly prepared and like we've practiced a bit at the grocery store. Having a map of the grocery store that you've either acquired from the store themselves or created yourself can also help you to locate a safe place within the grocery store if you start to feel panicked, overwhelmed, guilty, or any other negative emotion. This can be really helpful if things just don't go as planned and you just want to kind of navigate out of those fear sections of the grocery store and calm down for a bit. I suggest that when you first start your grocery shopping after an eating disorder, you choose a store that has more than just food in it. So, for example, that store might also sell things like furniture or clothing, such as a Target, in which case you can choose a safe place if you become overwhelmed with the information that you receive in the grocery store. Some tips and tricks while you're grocery shopping: set a time limit. So only allow yourself 30, 45 minutes to do that full grocery trip. And what this does is it's really going to help you resist the temptation to spend a lot of time making decisions about food. So we're going to spend less time checking labels or comparing foods, which might be really attractive to our eating disorder and lead us to feeling disarrayed or out of control. So set that time limit. I also really encourage people to treat that trip to the grocery store like going to a potluck. So really try to resist the urge to read those labels and look at the food just for what sounds good or doesn't sound good and toss in those items to the cart that sound good. Another strategy that I really encourage you to do while you're grocery shopping after an eating disorder is use the add but never take away phenomenon. So once it goes into the cart, there's no putting that item back. What the eating disorder is going to want to do is kind of negotiate. Okay, well, maybe I'll get this instead. That could potentially have less calories or less quote unquote toxins in that product. Whatever array of things that the eating disorder tells you is a reason you should put that food back and get this one instead. So add but never take away. That's a great strategy to shoot for if you're headed to the grocery store. You also might want to practice going about your grocery shopping before you actually get to putting food in your cart. So, for example, if the grocery store really, really gives you anxiety, try just circling the parking lot a few times before you even think about your grocery trip. or just pushing the cart around the grocery store without any intention of actually buying food. So, if your anxiety around the grocery store is really high, these are some tips and tricks for just getting used to that environment, even before we even are going to be making food decisions at the grocery store. Some other coping tools for dealing with anxiety at the grocery store after an eating disorder might be shopping with a friend. This can also be really helpful if you enlist the friend to be kind of that grocery shopping buddy where they're actually making sure you stick to the regulations you've put into place for that grocery shopping. So, for example, the advent takeaway, the time limits, they can really help just support you in honoring those decisions that you've already made. Another really great tool is to use headphones at the grocery store so there's less stimuli as you're going through this difficult process. In addition to a friend, another thing that you might do is just talking to a friend on the phone or even a provider on the phone or video conference as you walk through the store. Your dietitian might be a great help in this if they have eating disorder experience and might be available to FaceTime with you as you walk through the grocery store and help to support you in that difficult journey.